everyone. Welcome to day 2 of your health boot camp. I'm super excited. I have just been perusing on our Facebook page and loving that some of you have started to look at your board from yesterday, right? To create your vision board and see what it is that you want for your health and for your life and what you are working towards this year. So I want you to keep posting that in there. Let us know what it is that you came up with. What are the things that struck you? And also today on our Facebook Live, if you're here live, even after the fact, pop in your questions. Anything that came up yesterday or this morning when you were mulling this over, I can answer the questions live as we go through. And in a minute, I'm actually going to be asking if you guys are ready to pop on and we can actually talk a little bit back and forth about how to take this vision board and actually use it to create your goals and the next steps for you in your journey on your health journey. So I'm going to be going back and forth here between my phone and the computer. Just bear with me a little bit. And especially if I can pull it up over here. Oh, maybe not. There we go. So here we go. Hi, Rachel. It's great to see you this morning. Thanks for popping on. All right. So just a quick recap from yesterday. We were talking about these vision boards. I have mine posted up here again behind me. And using them as a way to sort of strategize, figure out, okay, what are the things that are really important to me in my life? I can create my categories. I can then find images, create drawings, find word scraps, whatever it is, that then kind of get to the heart of what is important in that category for me. And I hope you guys were able to get started on that. I love that that Jill actually just posted on that she found her picture, her center image of herself and the vibrancy that she wants to portray in her health, and that's what she wants to be striving for. So yay, Jill! I'm so glad you found that. It's a beautiful picture. I love it. And continue to think about this. And I want to hear from you guys. What is it that you discovered? What did you discover that was surprising to you? You know, even me, even doing this myself, I discovered new things about myself, right? Every time I do it, it's amazing. So for me, one of the things that really struck me was in this sort of home and family category over here. As I was going through magazines and finding words and pictures and things like that of what really mattered to me, you know, it was not surprising that playtime with my kids, you know, like playful scenes with children would pop out. And it wasn't surprising to me that a dog popped out. I love my dog. It wasn't surprising to me that healthy food popped out. You know, cooking actually I love cooking with my children. I love cooking on my own. It's therapeutic for me. It was really wonderful. The thing that really surprised me was I have 2 images of houses on here. I have upgrade your home across the top. And I wasn't necessarily expecting so much of a focus on a house to come out. And as I mentioned yesterday, you know, my family is sort of in a situation where we have to find a new home. Our landlords are moving back into the home where we're living right now, and so we are on the market. And it's an interesting situation in that we're not entirely sure where our new home will be, whether it'll be in our current community or in a new community. And so there's a lot up in the air. And, you know, there's not a lot that I can actually do to change that situation right now. So I've mostly just been shelving it and saying, you know, that's not what I need to focus on at the moment. And I didn't realize how much it obviously is really impacting me if this is what is popping out from magazines when I'm thinking about my home and family. So that was really surprising to me. The other one that I thought was much more fun that was also surprising to me is, friends or social engagement is really critical to me. I'm an extrovert. I like to go hang out with people. If I don't get enough people time, it's not good for me. And so when I was looking at things down here for my living section, the first one that actually popped out is this picture. I don't know if you can see it. And I'm trying to get it closer. It's this picture of all these women together, decked out in their white outfits, like dancing. And I was like, ooh, I want that. That's what I want right there. And it was such a kind of immediate attraction that I had to this picture. I don't even know. I mean, I think it's actually a professional singer with her kind of dance people behind her kind of thing. I mean, I have no idea. But the imagery really struck me. So that was another one that really popped out and kind of surprised me. And I went, oh, that's a good one to tap into as well. So I want to hear from you guys. What are the things that you have started thinking about that maybe have surprised you a little bit? What are the themes that you are seeing when you have started either just jotting down words that come to you, looking through magazines, drawing things, and if you haven't started, that's totally fine. When you do get started, notice what those patterns are. What are the things that keep coming up over and over again? What are the things that surprise you a little bit? You weren't expecting that to be such a powerful image or such a powerful idea for you. And let us know, because that gives you a good idea for our next steps of where to start and kind of what to hone in on. So today we are going to do just that. We are going to take that next step and go from this vision board, the overarching themes, the overarching goals. What is it that we really would like to have in our lives? And we're going to kind of narrow that down. And I want to look at, I call it a personalized path, because everybody, what you want is different, That was actually one other thing when I was looking up at the me category and the things that really speak to me and sort of in terms of self-care, in terms of making sure I'm getting what I need. And I noticed, like hardcore workout does not speak to me. That's not on my little category. It will speak to some people, right? Even like an aerobics class, some people they see images of that and get really excited. I'm not one of those people. I have a woman on a paddleboard in the middle of the lake doing yoga. Like, that speaks to me. That to me is like bliss in heaven on, with like chocolate cake thrown in. It's fabulous. I have these beautiful big outdoor kind of grand landscapes. So those are kinds of the things that actually speak to me. Hey, hi Kristen. I love it. You made it. You did. I'm so glad you're here. So let's take these themes then and narrow them down into actionable steps. What can you take from this board and how can you use that then in this coming year to start getting you closer to your health goals? So, the first thing that you will want to do with this board, once you've created this, is to then take a step back and really look and find those, you could call them those goals that you have that are on here. I like to think of them as themes. What are the themes that you really have found popping up? They can be in multiple categories. It can be in a single category, but what is the overarching theme? You can have more than one per category as well. But what is the feel of that particular part of your life? What is the thing that's really important to you? So I encourage you to make a list of that. And then once you have that list, there's a really, really important question you need to ask yourself. So you have your list of goals, you have your themes from your board, you write them down, then you ask yourself, of these goals, of these themes, what is actually something that's under my control and what is not? How many of you know the feeling that you sometimes have days, weeks, months, maybe even a whole year where you feel like you are banging your head against the wall, trying to accomplish something that is not under your control? Maybe you don't realize it's not under your control at first, and then it dawns on you and you go, well, why have I been wasting all this time and energy on something that I can't change or fix or do differently? So when you have your list of themes, go through them and check and say, is this something that I can do something about right now? And if it's not, you put it to the side. That's not to say that it's unchangeable forever. And often what happens is when you change other aspects of your life, it will by default affect the thing that you thought you couldn't change. But it is not the place to start. It's not what deserves your energy in this time, in this place. So it is a really critical question to ask when you have that list. Is this something that I can affect change, that is under my control, that I can do something about? Or is it something that I need to shelve for right now? Keep it there. It's not to say you don't ever pay attention to it, but that is not where your energy goes. Okay? Awesome, Susan. I'm glad. Yay! So for me, if we go back up to this home and family category, you know, I have this very playful sort of theme. Playing with my dog, playing with my kids. Look, there's even, you know, a couple in a swimming pool hanging out together. Like, I've got my playful theme going on over here. My other theme over here is a home. So I have two, like, you can take basically everything from this quadrant over here and split it into those two categories. So if I'm going to look at that, what is under my control? Well, for the time being, a home is not under my control for a variety of reasons. And I'm not going to bore you with the details right now, but it's just not. It's not something that I can do anything about for the next few months. The playful, absolutely, that is completely under my control. That is something I can do something about. So I am going to take all my desires for finding a new home and shelve that for a couple months. I cannot address that until later on in the spring, maybe even early summer. And I am going to take my energy and I am going to focus it on this other side, this other theme that I have of being playful with my children, spending time with my husband, going out with my dog, maybe all of them at the same time, right? That is where I'm going to start. So you can go through your whole board and do exactly that. Find your themes and ask yourself, is this something that I can do something about immediately? Or is this something that should get shelved at least for the time being? And I'll come back to it later if I need to. So I actually want to check the time. I start talking and then I have no idea how long it's been. All right. So beyond that, then we can then start coming up with tangible steps, right? You've gone from your overarching vision, you've brought it down to your themes or your goals, and then you can take those and start to work in, where do you start first? What are the first steps? And there are a couple different ways that you can do this, but what I like to do is sort of start with my end result. What would I like this to look like when I'm done? And essentially work my way backwards. What are really key components? If under my family, you know, one of my key goals is to spend quality time with my children, then how do I do that? What does that really tie into? A lot of that has to do with, I would like to have a good relationship with my daughters. Always, you know, they're still young enough to think I'm cool, which is awesome. And I'd like that to continue even when they get older. So how do I make sure we have a really strong foundation of a relationship right now? That could be kind of a more specific goal under this tier of playful family. And if I'm going to do that, I'm going to say, okay, what are the key components if I want to build a really good relationship with my kids? I want them to know that I'm there for them. which isn't always easy when you have a home office and your kids come home from school and you still have a bajillion one things to do. So prioritizing, what are the days that I'm going to let them know I'm working? What are the days that I'm going to be there for them? And to tell myself, okay, when they get home from school, my computer gets closed, my phone gets turned off. The only thing we use my phone for is playing music in the house, and we hang out. We do homework, they do piano practice, whatever it is. And I make sure that I'm fully 100% there. And we always throw in at least one dance party every afternoon, because what is life without dance parties, right? So that is something that I can really commit to. And that can be a tangible step that's under that goal. And for any of you who work from home or work both away and at home and have children around, you know how hard it is, right, to navigate that road of not wanting to be the parent who's on the screen all the time, and wanting to make sure your kids know that they come first, even when you have a work call you have to take, right? It's hard to navigate sometimes. So I can get really specific with those goals, and break down what I just said even further to say, I'm going to shut down my work at 3:00 so that by 3:30, my mind has fully disengaged from my work so that my kids get home off the school bus and I'm fully focused on them. Now, does that happen every day? No. This is something I'm working towards. It's something that I have written down and that is a goal of mine. Am I getting better at it? Yes. And I will throw in a tip. Accountability is a huge thing. And guess who's keeping me accountable? My kids are. I've told them, look, this is what I want to do. They know I work Tuesday and Thursday evenings. I see clients on those evenings. I'm not going to be around. They get to hang out with their dad. So I want to make it really clear that the times that I'm around, I'm here for you during this time. So I have that conversation with them and we line it up, and then they can say, Mom, we're home from school and you're still on your computer. What's up with that? And I can go, all right, okay, yeah, sorry. I have one more thing. No, one more thing. Just close it down. Come back to center. Be present with them. So for me, that's a huge goal. One of my big overarching themes for this year is to be more playful with my family and to be present. So you can see it is cropped up again on my board over here. It's not going away. It's just niggling in the back of my mind. It's something that I continually focus on. So this is a way that I can take that, wrap it into a goal, and actually come down with steps. Now, once I master the step of being present for them when they get home from school, I can add on something else. I'm not going to add on 500 things for me to change all at once. That's just setting ourselves up for not succeeding. So I'm going to do it one step at a time and just take one motion, one movement that I can do to help in that category. I can do the same thing in all of these other categories, right? One big theme down here in my living category is, spending time with my honey and going for walks, maybe going out on a date night, having intimacy and just being together. We've been married for almost 17 years. And we have a really solid relationship. And while that's really amazing and wonderful, it's also very easy to ignore because I know it's not going anywhere. We're just so supportive of each other. He's my, number one supporter in everything. And I want to make sure I'm not taking advantage of that. That I'm not just letting that be there. I want to make sure that I'm still fueling it and we're still connecting and we're still making time for each other, even though when life gets busy and that kind of falls by the wayside, we still have an amazing relationship. But I know if I want to have an amazing relationship for the next 50 years with him, then that is something that I need to continue to work at. And that has been something that obviously, I mean, literally almost half of the pictures over in this side came up under that theme. And so I can look at that and say, okay, what is something? That's my overarching goal. How can I break that down? How can I break that down into one thing that we can commit to do together in our relationship, whether that's a monthly date night? I mean, I can't even tell you the last time we actually went out on a date and went away without kids and did something. It's been a while, which is really kind of shameful when I stop and think about it and go, I don't even remember when it was. It should not have been so long ago that I don't remember what it was. So maybe that's something that we set as a goal together. I actually just had a conversation with a client of mine who was talking about similar things. You know, you get into kind of the day-to-day life and the work grind and the everything else grind. And it's really easy to forget about your partner and that relationship that needs nurturing all the time, right? So we were talking about, okay, one thing that she could do is actually find one fun thing for her to do for herself, because I really wanted her to focus on, you know, enjoyment of life. And one thing that she and her husband could do that was fun together every single week. And her response was so great when I was talking to her. She goes, wait, every week? Really? I should do this every week? And it was like this mind-blowing, like, for real, I'm allowed to have fun every week? Like, this is amazing. And she was so thankful to get the permission to do that. So that's something else that I could do with me and my spouse, is to say, okay, every Sunday we're going to find something fun to do every week. You know, what is our fun thing going to be this week? Maybe it's we're going to stagger or shift our work schedules a little bit so we can go for a hike in the morning after the kids go to school. I mean, how amazing would that be? It was shocking, right? Maybe it would be going out on a date night. I have no idea. But that is something else that I can then tap in and say, okay, for this area of my life, if this is one of my overarching goals, here's going to be my first step. What is my first step in what I'm going to do in order to move myself closer to what I have created in imagery over here? So, I would say if anyone has any quick questions, any thoughts, a theme that you have been mulling over and you want to kind of tease it apart a little bit, just type it in and we can chat about it. Otherwise, those are the comments that I want to see. You know, what is it that you're thinking of? What are the goals and themes that you are coming down to? And how can we kind of create a first step within that theme of how you can get closer to that image that you have created on your vision board. So today's homework is, if you haven't started on your vision board, start on your vision board. If you have started on your vision board and you've started to create these categories, I want you to take a look at what you've created, even if that's just lists of, you know, if you haven't done the imagery part, if you've just done like verbal list of these are the areas of my life, these are the things that are important in those areas. Yeah, I love, Susan says, including more playtime in my life is always a challenge. Absolutely. I agree. I think having fun is actually one of the most underrated things in our society right now. For real. It's the health, mental, physical, emotional boost you get from having fun. It's like the best drug in the whole world. And we totally forget to do it all the time, right? We get into our routine and we get into the monotonous kinds of stuff and we completely forget to have time. or to have fun. So I am giving everybody here permission to schedule fun into their lives. There, you have permission to go and do it. And I hope you do. Okay, so I want you to take your vision board and create these themes. See what those themes are and write them down. I want to see a list. What are the lists of your themes, right? What are your lists over here? What are your lists in this category? What are your lists for yourself? What's your theme over there? That's right, Susan. Doctors need to prescribe more play and less drugs. Absolutely, it is. It does amazing things for the body. So list those out, and then I want to take your list and I want you to put it into the two categories. What are the things that I can control now? What are the things that are beyond my control at this time that I do not need to be putting my energy into? And really make that distinction. It is so important to make that distinction because there's going to be things on your list that are not things that you can control right in this moment. And it's super critical to make that distinction so you're not spending all of your energy banging your head against a wall, trying to accomplish something that is not going to get accomplished at that time. So it frees you up to be able to pay attention to this other side of the list that says, I can actually control this. I can do something about it. I can achieve my dreams on this side. So that is your homework for tonight, is to take your themes from your vision board and split them into those two categories. What are the things that you can control? What are the things that you can't? And then tomorrow we are going to be talking about setting up your day in a way that provides you with the energy that you can actually work towards your goals, right? Even if you have a list of like, okay, this is what I want to do, if you don't have the time, energy, and mental space to be able to accomplish that, then it's a pretty useless list. If anything, it's just more frustrating. So I like to call it my magical morning strategies because it does make for a pretty magical morning. So we're going to talk about that tomorrow, but I want to see those lists of your themes. What are you going to focus on? What you can control right now? And then what are the things that you just need to let go of for the time being? They don't have to go off your board. My home is not moving from my board. It is going to be there and it's going to be a reminder to me. But it is not something that I am spending my energy on right at this moment. So I can't wait to see the list that you come up with. I can't wait to see those themes that you have extracted from your vision board. And I am going to be so interested to see what are the ones that you are going to be focusing on right now, because they are things that you can make strides towards to actually achieve it. So post those on the Facebook page. We'll see what you guys come up with. If you have any questions or are feeling stuck just on getting started with your vision board, let me know. Post that too. What are the things that are holding you up? What have you gotten started with, but you are having a hard time doing the next step? Anything like that. Let's make it a conversation. And then tomorrow we're going to talk about setting up your day. Setting up your day with your magical morning strategies so that you have the energy and the time and the mental space to be able to take these steps that you're starting to define for yourselves. So I hope you have a great rest of it's Tuesday, right? Yeah, great rest of your Tuesday. And I will see you all on the Facebook page with those posts. And I will see you all right here tomorrow for day 3, Magical Morning Strategies, at noon Pacific time, same place, same page, everything. And I can't wait to see you then. Mwah!